I guess who hasn't? Who hasn't heard about it? Everybody heard about Raspberry Pi? So I was toying around with the topic, and one of the things I've been working on is a talk on security metrics. And I was talking to Corey about that, but I just didn't think that you guys would probably be interested in that on a Wednesday night drinking beer. So decided to change it up a little bit, and so I'm going to talk about Pi. So Pwning with Pi, right? And then I've got 5 kids. So the oldest is 19, my youngest is 8. And every Saturday morning, I can't find any of them. They're all downstairs in the basement, even my 19-year-old. So I was looking for them this last Saturday. I found them downstairs and had an idea. The reason I can't find them is because they're all watching My Little Pony. So instead of being Pwning with Pi, I think maybe this will be a talk about My Little Pony.
Can we turn this into BronyCon?
It's even got the little raspberry thing right there. How about that? I know enough that they have a little thing on their butt. All right. So a little bit myself. I gave a tool talk, but I don't think I gave an introduction about me. So I'm Shogo Control. Long time ago, had some handle called Vendetta. And I won't even tell you what I did with that because I'm not sure what the statute of limitations is. But I was in my teens, so luckily. Yeah, never mind. My dad talked to a lot of people and got me out of trouble, and luckily it helped out. But I was in the Marines for a while as an information systems officer. I got out, and I'm lucky enough that I can do the same thing today that I was doing in the Marines. Just make a little bit more money, don't have to wear a uniform, and don't have to exercise in PT. So that's good. Been working in InfoSec for the last several years. That's my email if you want it. Like I said, I got 5 kids, and I walk around with a tin hat thanks to Wayne. So, woo! All right. So I had a thought about the Raspberry Pi, about to use it for pen testing, right? And it's a great little device. It's small, and the size of a credit card. But there's some reason why I really thought it was great. Is that one, I don't have a lot of money. So, anybody seen the phone plug? I think Wayne, you've got one, right? He got his for free or something. I don't know how he did that. Okay, you paid $6.95 for it. So it's expensive, right? $600 for something that you might drop somewhere and it might get confiscated and you might never see it again. That's a lot of money to lose. I mean, I don't have that much money, but the Raspberry Pi, this is at the Micro Center, is $30. And it's pretty good. So it's cheap. I can live with losing a $30 device. Right? I don't know that I would live myself buying a $600 device that I had potential losing. Small and easy to hide. Some of you can see that. That's the inside guts of a power strip that someone's taken, kind of pulled out some of the electronics in there, stuck in a Raspberry Pi. And it's great. I mean, I've got one of these at home. That's actually what my thought was. I've got an old APC UPS, like a personal one. It's a little bit bigger than a power strip on steroids. It's pretty big, but has like a little 4x4 slot where the battery, is that can't find a battery for anymore. But that'd be a great spot to stick that thing because it's got like a bunch of power outlets on it. It's got inputs for telephone lines, fax line, and data line, right? So you can tap right into that, stick it in someone's desk, and it'll look like it belongs there because it's a mini UPS. It says agency on it. It looks great. That'd be a great enclosure for one of these things. I don't think anybody would ever really think twice if they saw one sitting in someone's desk. And the Pi runs Linux natively, so we all love Linux in here, right? Because you saw that I was having problems getting my laptop on Windows 8 to work with this, and I hate Windows 8, so if you hate Windows 8, take a drink. Cheers. And there are a lot of options. So because it runs Linux, there are a ton of different distros out there. So Kali Linux, the ones that we're talking about in our tool talks, runs natively on it. They have a build with a Raspberry Pi to run on ARM sockets. So creative tools on the Kali Linux distro. If you want to get it, there's the link for it there. Pwning Pi, I think they finished development on that. It's like version 2 or something. That has over 200 security tools installed on that. That's the one I'm going to show tonight. And then Pwning Express actually did a build called Raspberry Pwn. I didn't go and count the tools. Actually, it's kind of fun to figure out how much they have. And then I found out actually can't evade NAT. You got to pay for their device to do that. Their freeware stuff. They pulled that out of there. But that's something pretty easy to do if you really want to get around NAT. And that actually, that was the one I wanted to try, but it requires an older version of the Raspberry Pi Debian build that I couldn't find anywhere, so I can actually get the build to work. We spent like 2 in the morning a couple nights ago. I gave up and I just went with the Pwning Pi, so that's what I've got. Pretty easy to do. The cool thing about the Raspberry Pi is that the storage mechanism is an SD card. So if you want, you can take each of these different Linux builds, put them on a separate SD card, and throw them in and figure out which one you like. Boots up really quick, less than 60 seconds. I think I counted like 43 seconds for Pwning Pi last night. So it comes up online pretty quick, saves everything to the SD card. SD cards are cheap, Pwning Pi is cheap. I mean, this thing's awesome. If you download the image, you can then use DD and Linux, and there's a couple Windows tools to write that image to the SD card, and then put the card in the box, and then power it up, and then you get a screen like that. So this is mine right here. I bought an enclosure for it just because I didn't want the electronics and stuff hanging out, but you can see it's pretty small. So, one of the things I wanted to demo, just kind of a start, obviously you're going to stick something somewhere else on another network, you want to be able to access that. And pretty easy to establish a reverse SSH cell to your box. There's the script there that I had, can't see it, sorry, but so it's running on it now, so it's got a cron job, so every 5 minutes it runs it, checks the script runs, checks to see whether or not SSH tunnel's been established. If it hasn't, it sets it up, runs it, and then you're connected. So what you would have is on, you have, oops, sorry. So what you would have is like on the other network, and someone else's network, you have your little Raspberry Pi hanging off. And over the internet, they go to your laptop, where you would have SSH running at Backtrack or Kali or something like that. And is that it? So I can't see my own screen. I love, like I said, I love Windows 8. So I can't even see this. Alright, so the Raspberry Pi is up and running, it's powered up. It should have run the cron job script by now, establish an SSH tunnel or attempt an SSH tunnel every 5 minutes to my box. So my box, I've got it running in VMware there. It's already running SSH services. So all I got to do is run a command, tell it, hey, I want to go backwards on the SSH tunnel is established on port 1974 back to root, the local host, which is my Pi. So it's going to ask me for a password, and there you go. So for my Linux host, SSH back, reverse tunnel back into my Pwning Pi. So pretty simple, pretty easy to do. From there, you can run any of those 200 to 300 security tools, Nmap, whatever you want. So pretty cool. It's got USB on it, so if you want to attach on a Wi-Fi antenna or device, a receiver, whatever, you can do that, sniff traffic. If you have a large enough card, I mean, SD cards come up to what, 128 gigs now, probably. I mean, you can probably store a crap load of data on that SD card, capturing logs, sniffing stuff, whatever you want. So I use an 8 gig card here. I think it's only using less than 2, so lots of room on that to download more tools if I want, or store stuff on it for exfiltration later on. So that's it. Yeah.
Where'd you get your case?
Micro Center. Yeah. Case was like $8.
I think they're selling them now in a gas kit.
It was cheaper to buy the case separate and the card separate, but
Yeah.
Has the speed of it limited you in any way, or is it fast enough?
I think it's fast enough. Yeah. I mean, it's designed. I mean, you can do HD video on it and stuff. So I mean, it's not going to be it's easy quick. I don't know that I would run John the Ripper on it and try to get passwords on it, but
It does mine Bitcoin.
it does mine. Yeah, he's using to mine Bitcoin, so I don't know how much he's getting out of it. Maybe by the time he's 90, he might have half of one. Yeah.
So I've noticed that the speed of SDPs and writes is pretty slow. So what's your experience with network, for example, sniffing or like that, trying to
Oh, reactive stuff. Yeah, it can slow down. So the question was around SD cards. The read-write can be a little slow, and he's right. He's correct. So I'm using, high capacity, Type 4 card, the fastest I can get on it. It seems to work all right. I haven't had any issues recording data to it, at least that I can see. And of course, I've done all this just on my own network at home, so over wireless or gigabit. So I haven't noticed any significant latency. It works for me. I mean, especially for the price point, for $29.
From that first image where you had it in a power strip, were you using what were you using for the power supply?
Oh, so in that, so the power slide, it's powered by, there's a question on the power strip, what is it powered by? So it's powered by USB power. So you need a minimum, I think, of like 0.7 amps. So almost any cell phone charger. So what I did was took an old BlackBerry charger I had, and since no one has BlackBerries anymore, right? So pull the BlackBerry charger apart and you tap into it. So just be careful, when you're doing stuff like that. There's capacity, the one that I had, there's capacitors, things, so you want to make sure they're discharged or just stick a brand away from them. Mess around with electricity, but yeah, you can tap into that and easily tap into the network port. If you want, I just basically replaced it because I knew I wasn't going to try to pass through anyway.
One more suggestion for anybody here that may be using a device for remote location and sees through grips on the file system for any data that they'll be messing with. So if it's captured.
Yeah, great. So the comment here was if you're doing anything like this, consider using TrueCrypt to encrypt your data on your device, because if someone does grab this and want to pull the card down, obviously they'll have access to everything that you had on your distro, right? So all your logs, everything you've been doing. So
Nobody would do that.
no one would do
Nobody
that.
would do
Right?
that.
No one would ever do that. Yeah. So any other questions or comments? So a lot of cool things you can do with a $30 device. It's small and stick it anywhere and have a lot of fun.
That's what she said.
Yeah.